Hey, Shalom, Akim Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Noise in its gospel, rather lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. Um, this is titled, Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees. That's the scripture based on Isaiah 10 and 1. Okay, unrighteous decree being a law, damn, or something that's submitted into law, or something under the color of law, like Title 4D being under the color of law, because it's not really, it's not really a law. You gotta forgive me for this thing, brothers, man. I kind of don't have a lot of arm space for this little trinket right here that I'm using, so it's just getting the back seat, so just bear with it. But basically, like Title 4D, which is completely unlawful, is unethical. Alimony, which deals with alimony, child support, even a taxation system follow under a similar code, okay, of Title 4D, being taxed to death unrighteously, because this is a credit-based system that was set up once the dollar was taken off the gold standard back in 71. You had a Woodrow Wilson that basically broke down what the whole birth certificate was about, and how everything eventually was going to be led over into digital transactions, which would be the CHIP, or the mark of the beast. Okay, because even doing, get off the phone, bitch. Even doing the 60s, the 50s, the 70s, they was always talking about a digital technocracy. Okay, so we got to keep in mind that these systems, the social security card, the birth certificate, all these things were under the color of law. Okay, because that's the way that they were able to implement certain aspects in order to take away your civil freedoms, man. Okay, like we always go into the whole birth certificate being a whole warehouse receipt, because the elites, man, they need cattle, they need goyim, which is another way of saying cattle, because you have something which is called maritime laws, which is basically unrighteous laws. Okay, that's set up to tax the poor, okay, and really tax all the Babylonians, because America is, like we said, is a credit-based system. Everybody in America, mainly if you were poor or middle class, because technically there's no more middle class. You have lower middle class, you have rich and poor, which the lower middle class would be considered the poor, because that's what the scandemic did. It pretty much phased out the middle class, and you have a class between the rich and the poor, which the poor pays the most taxes. Because I don't know if you brothers realize, but it's like the more money you make, the more taxes you pay. But that's not for the rich, because even, I want to say years ago, when this guy, even Biden is talking about so-called taxing the rich, you know, putting more taxes on the riches, but presidents have been promising that for 5, 6, 7 administrations, and they ain't even done a damn thing about it. Because we know that the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor, because the way the rich stay rich is the fact that they don't use their own money. They take and borrow money from the poor, and then they don't have to use their own money, and therefore they stay rich and you stay poor, because they borrow from you, but you end up paying it back. It's a weird system how it works, but that's the scheme that Esau has, man. That's why the scriptures say, woe to them that decree unrighteous decree that white grievousness which they have prescribed. Okay, because when you go to these courts, like I remember when I was living in Chicago, man, and I went to traffic court it was like a ticket or something, like a parking ticket, because they was real heavy on giving out parking tickets out there, $100 parking tickets, $200 red light. No, those red light tickets was $100. But see, people started catching on to it and stated, wait a minute, man, that's unrighteous, because you got red lights set up, you know what I'm saying, and you can make it at least through the intersection and it'll still flag you. Or if you make it through and somebody else runs it, sometime that light will get your license plate, and you would end up having to pay the ticket, man. So people start protesting that, and I don't know if they still have them out there, but I heard of a point in time they was trying to get rid of them red light cameras, like out here in Kansas City. They used to have them, but they don't have them anymore. But a lot of people was fighting it, because the city of Chicago made millions of dollars off of violations of tickets, man. I done literally went in court in 10 minutes. I want to say they came up at least 200 bands just off tickets, okay? You ain't got no insurance, that's $500. You was in a car wreck. No insurance, no license, that's $2 grand right there. Probably more. Red light ticket, $100 a pop. At least 60, 70 motherfuckers in the courtroom waiting outside is in there for a red light ticket, man. You know what I'm saying? So you times that, you easily can make a good you can easily make a good 77 bands right there. Just amount of people that's in there of bullshit, man. And this is an unrighteous system. That's why when you're born over $100,000 in debt. Okay, because that's how the elite set it up. Because that way, if they could keep you as a working class citizen, that way they would never have to work and they could remain rich, man. Okay, it's a constant cycle of what they call a monarchy, which the Roman Empire, they dealt heavily with monarchies. Okay, a monarchy goes into basically the top class, the 1% having everything versus the 99% not having a goddamn thing. Okay, and the 1% goes into your elites and your multi-billionaire, man, your billionaires, your trillionaires, like Bill Gates. I mean, he would probably be in the 5% because he's clearly not. He's nowhere near as rich as the Rothschilds, okay? But he's the face of everything because they're putting him out there as front man. But even men like Bill Gates, you know, Warren Buffett, which he's pretty much broke, okay? George Bezos, these men would be considered a lower class elite. They would never pay taxes on shit for real, okay? So if you look at one of their paychecks, they get their money tax-free right away. They ain't waiting no 2 weeks to get a paycheck like we do, man, okay? Like when you a salaried employee, you don't get overtime because for the simple fact you already got a predetermined salary. You know, which sucks for certain people because when you want the salary, which that's a scam as well. You know, a salary, basically, motherfucker had an accident as usual. When you want the salary, basically, you working 50, 60 hours a week, but you're just getting your regular salary versus a person that's an hourly employee. You know, he works 60 hours a week. You know, he gets a nice, decent paycheck, but at the end of 60 hours, they end up taxing you to death, man. You know, so this is an unrighteous system, man. Okay, and the Lord has to destroy it because the scriptures say, the James the 5th chapter, it says, "Go, you rich man, weep and howl, for your misery has come upon you because you've heaped treasures for yourselves together in the last days, man. And woe to them that trust in uncertain riches." You know, so yeah, man, this system is totally unrighteous. Like, you got so many jakes that's paying child support like it was a video that came out. And this is why we got to get out of here, brothers, man. This is just straight confusion. And Slocky, I changed the topic. I'm here on the highway trying to make it to my destination. And, you know, people always texting and driving. They get into a wreck and they hold everything up. To show you the rat race, everybody is trying to rush to get to a fucking job that they going to have to pay taxes on. If these people were smart, they would just stop going to fucking work and let the system fall. Let it work for them. But they're not that smart. Okay, because they was even speaking, I don't know if Woodrow Wilson made that fucking quote, but basically he stated that these people will basically work as slaves in order to keep the life that they want. Meaning they would go to work every single day, be taxed to death, you know, go through all sorts of debt, wage garnishments in order to drive a new 2003, man. In order to have that nice so-called apartment that they was advertising, just to be the next social media sensation. That's what this world is about, man. And it's a shit show, man. Okay, this is a shit show. You know, you rushing to get to work just to get a paycheck at the end of the week so you can go blow it at the bar, so you can show off your new clothes. This is a real slave culture, okay? This is a very slave-driven culture, man. As good as people have it in this society, America, they breed up the majority of the slaves, man, because they don't realize that they're being oppressed. You know, even the Edomites are being oppressed by their own government. Well, I gotta go to work, man. These jobs ain't fucking worked at the end of the day. It's all indoctrination, man. You know? But anyway, going back to the Title 4 deed, this one Jake, he was basically his baby mama extracted or extolled or basically stole $1,200 from him a week. Whatever job you work, you must be making a lot of money, because $1,200 a week. But see, Esau's so much of a damn devil. He don't give a shit. Esau would take your last bread and butter. Like, you could make, let's just say if you make $800 a week and you on child support, Esau would take $700 of that and tell you to figure it out. Here, your rent costs as much as your rent costs about $1,000 a month. Your phone bill was like $100-something a month. Your light bill was probably $100. Your gas bill is $100. You know what I'm saying? Then your other bills, and then you may have some garnishments. You may have insurance. Car insurance is high as hell. You know, and that's another fucking fraudulent scheme in itself, right along with the medical system. You know, I'm paying car insurance. You know, if they got a whole 6-month coverage thing, you pay after 6 months, your rate's supposed to go down. So after my term ended, I'm calling around like, let me get a lower rate. They was like, well, we can't find your lower rate. I'm like, that's bullshit. All my payments are on time. So I know y'all got a lower rate, but that's unrighteous decree, man. That's them stealing and extolling money from us. You know, extorting money from us, I'll say it that way. Extortion. And extortion is a big part of the Babylonian culture, man. Okay? Prime example, child support. They're extorting $1,200 a week from this man. And the bitch basically put it on camera and say, I got you. You ain't gonna do nothing. You ain't even gonna see your kids but once a week. You know, so I'm assuming he went from seeing his children probably every other day to now giving his bitch $1,200, man, and seeing his child once a week. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you ain't gonna be able to take care of nobody, you only gonna take care of my kids type shit. Like, the man is totally in slavery under this system. You know? That's why, man, hey, brothers, be careful when having baby with the, if you can avoid it, don't have a baby with no woman, man. I mean, we ain't in a time for that shit anyway. I mean, if you have a child, you have a child. You know what I'm saying? I mean, children are beautiful when they're brought up in a white environment. But in this environment, it ain't gonna do nothing but damage the kids, man. It ain't gonna do nothing but destroy their minds. Social media culture, this is a wrong time to be bringing up children, man. Okay? Especially if you in this truth, because you have to focus on the Lord. Now, if you have kids, you have kids. I mean, it is what it is. You know, you don't run off on them. You do what you're supposed to do. You and the woman are in good terms, and so be it. You know, do what y'all gotta do. But if you can avoid it, please avoid that shit. That's another fucking bill, another headache, another obligation that technically we don't have time for. You know? I mean, that family man Israelite shit, that ain't, man, look. I mean, certain brothers can do it, you know, and that's beautiful. They can juggle that. But that ain't what this thing is about, because the Lord warned us and told us not to have kids in this place because of the wickedness. You know, so, I mean, brothers that got children, we know we all have children. We all did that. But it won't be a wise thing to just be popping out seed while you in the truth just because, for the fuck of it, man. You know, you gotta think about Jacob's trouble. And if you are the elect, the Lord gonna take care of you and your seeds anyway. But just the time being, you have to have a peace of mind, man. It's hard juggling a family, the truth, a wife, a child, work. That take a lot of mental fortitude, man. And the way things are going on, people ain't in the right mindset to have kids, man. You know, me personally, my mind ain't right to have kids right now. I just can't focus on it. You know, we got too much shit going on. Now, that happened, and of course, we gonna buckle down and do what we gotta do. You know, I mean, of course. But right now, my mind ain't on children. So, you brothers, man, hey, you got women or whatever, wives, and hey, if you want to avoid that, it's probably a better way to have a safe approach to having sex with your wife, man. You know, without her getting all suspicious and shit. You know, I mean, honestly, when you have sex, kids happen. I mean, so you popping in her, hey, you expect it. I mean, you can't say shit because you've been popping her, man. So you can avoid it. Find more safer means to have sex, man. Like, I don't approve of any women being on birth control. But if it's gonna be for the betterment of what we need to do, or condoms or whatever, and you know, us Jakes, we don't like to use condoms with women. That's just not in the question. Fuck that shit. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, just to be circumspect, figure the way out. You know, if your pull out game ain't strong, then hey, you better figure out another route, man. Because shit do happen. Unless she goes into early menopause, you know, which the foods and the hormones and shit like that, women are going into menopause in their 30 because the fucking food is all messed up, man. You know, but regardless of that, brothers, just give yourself a peace of mind, because the scriptures say, why afflict thyself in thy own counsel, man. I mean, me personally, I like kids, but I don't want to have any more. You know, I don't really care to have them on inside. I have all my babies in the kingdom, and then I can actually enjoy them and have control over them, not being drugged to court behind some bitterness, man, behind some hating shit, some angry type, spiteful type stuff. I don't want to be put in a predicament like that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we can avoid it, then avoid it, man, because, hey, scriptures say, be ye wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Be wise, man. Be circumspect. Okay? Be circumspect, man. If you can avoid it, avoid it. You know, that way, if you brothers that don't have kids, hey, I'm on you would never have a child support case or anything like that. The only person that can destroy you is yourself at this point. But if you ain't got no children, shit, brothers, y'all in the best fucking predicament, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't got to deal with the bullshit that comes with the other party and the families and shit. You ain't got to go to birthday parties and Christmas presents, and that's a whole nother thing. Raising kids in Babylon, you know what I'm saying? You raising them to be an Israelite, but the mother, she's raising them to be an American. That's a conflict of interest. Now, there's alt there, which is another problem. Well, your kid can't come see you because you into that bullshit. You know, stuff like that. We just don't need that, man. Okay, so just be circumspect. But anyway, brothers, man, I'm in it there. All praises and glory and honor that's due to you. How about Shimi Hawashai? And with that, Shalom and a Baba Ball. Lord's will you edify until the next lesson. Shalom.